the team who lost last time around. I'm actually going
I can't explain. I can't explain it. I go insane when we get naked. Hold me down, never let me go. Take me in, I want you to show. Hold me down, never let me go. Take me in, I want you to show me love.
All right, sorry about that, guys. We had a bit of a crash from our producer, but we've sorted it all out, and hopefully we are back. I was had an eye on the stream to see exactly when we cut out, so you haven't missed out on too much. I promise. You would have seen us trying to explain the situation, but that is all now in the ether. You have no idea that happened. Now we're going to go live into this one. Unfortunately, we've missed a pistol round, but 00Nation did manage to take that one, and they have that means a good start on the CT side of Overpass. And we'll get this game unpaused ASAP, of course. We had it paused thanks to a quick message in the admin channel to let them know that they have to wait for us because we want to see them play in this grand final, of course, to qualify for IEM Dallas Paladin.
And coldzera actually got a 4K. Really cool. It sucks that we couldn't see it, but it's also always awesome to have your captain fire on all cylinders. And I've been noticing that this tournament, he's been performing very, very well. I feel like in the series against 9Z yesterday, he had a lot of impact, and against INTZ, he was sincerely laying down the law. So I hope that we can continue to see that kind of performance from him today. It's always going to be a huge boon for 00Nation when they need when they're just being led from the front, like with coldzera in that way. So I hope to see more from him today.
Absolutely. Free time has been cancelled, the message has been relayed, and we're all sorted out and ready to go once again. 9Z not choosing to go for the full force buy, just playing patient, as they should. And they'll be waiting for the AKs in the third. 00Nation CT side start, of course, on Overpass. We'd hope that they can put up a good number on this half so far. Cold's had a really good day so far. Some of you may have been around to watch the game against Fluxo earlier on, and he had a really good performance, a number of really impactful frags and great rounds that basically cracked open bomb sites all on his own. Looking for more of that tonight.
The last time 00Nation actually played Overpass was against Navi at EPL in March, and that was a smashing victory for 00Nation 16-8. So definitely shown that they can beat some top teams, sure. But again, the last time they did play this map was in late March. So it's been a little bit now. But 9Z definitely have what it takes to go toe-to-toe, as we saw last night. This buy shouldn't be the end-all, be-all for 9Z thus far, though. Complete save in that sense, just a P250 on Buda. And a deagle on DGT.
Nice shot. DGT actually manages to find a second as well. That's decent damage, but he's about to walk into his death. Fakes out NQZ nicely, but he knows the USP is all that's needed to finish the job. M4 recovered. Correct. To grab that one. Sped after it and got it done. And now 9Z can pull out their buy. Max only on the Galil, but not the end of the world. He gets himself the full utility required.
I'm very curious to see what the game plan is from 9Z here. I mean, we've seen very different facets to the way they like to approach certain maps. I mean, on Anubis, they were a lot more faster paced. They would like to target the same part of the map again and again. And they were very good at doing that. And then on other maps, on Inferno, they like to slow things down a lot more in their defaults. And basically congregate late round to try and burst on these sites. Very interested to see how 9Z want to operate this time around on a map like Overpass.
We smoke next to connector for Lato, who's also had a really good day earlier in the opening BO3 of this qualifier tonight. And obviously that game yesterday against 9Z. That ridiculous ace on Anubis was absolutely superb. Next now, we'll shot a peak monster, and we'll see the information coming his way. And MP9 now needs to step up. He's got 3 rifles about to peek him, and that's fortunate timing on the smoke. Probably should have kept his gun out in that scenario, and Buda headshots coldzera out of the round. He'll advance him toward water as well, but that's a good answer back from NQZ. Trade from David, though, is too strong. And now Lato, if he's advancing, he needs a kill right now, because David is up close, and just as he pulls out his utility, that's when David swings, and that forces Lato into ABC on very low HP, and it's an easy kill. That's going to force Dumao away to save the M4. And I mentioned it yesterday, Paladin. David is a player that I've followed of course a lot. The pride of Chilean Counter-Strike, and that game that I covered over 2 years ago now, where he dropped 111 kills in a BO3 is one I'll always remember. He's most certainly a talent, and alongside the other players on 9Z, it's a good match.
He's actually the highest rated player of this qualifier thus far, 1.32 over 5 maps. So he's definitely doing very, very well for himself. Some fantastic entry work there, and a very well-timed flash. Really caught Nex off guard. He didn't really know whether or not he should be using his smoke there. And 9Z, I think, just sniffed out that there was a potential possibility to just burst into the site there. Kept it very simple, relied heavily on David's entries, but he delivered. And as soon as coldzera gets one, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. He can't really do much without taking significant damage or just dying straight up. So 9Z do very well to catch a little bit of a timing there onto the B side and get rewarded with their first round. And that instantly destroys the money of 00Nation. They're into this very weird force buy type scenario with 4 deagles across the board and a single A4 saved over for Dumao. So already under some scrutiny here are the CTs.
Looks like 9Z might be trying to repeat the previous round as well. They've got 4 outside monster with 1 in connector. That's a classic play. Cut off any rotations and catch anyone trying to peek in towards short. Cold in the position next to the sign on the short position, which can be a nice angle if you have a rifle, but just with the deagle it can be pretty hard to deal with. Max will not check short straight away and almost gets caught in the back, but that's the deagle update coming back to bite him. Of course, if that was the old deagle, that probably would have been a kill with 2 body shots. Cold tries to line up this headshot, but you can't hit a bullet, and Buda will get it sorted. That's not the coldzera deagle that we saw earlier today. Had a ridiculous play on Mirage with a sexy 3k, but nothing this time around, and that will force Dumao back away again. And obviously, as you say, with the investment being a sort of a weird level, maybe a bit more than I feel like is necessary, the save is actually a bit more important.
Yeah, I mean, with the single loss bonus, they'll only have 1,400 into that next round, and so the buy would never be pretty, and so they opt in for the double eco. It doesn't pan out this time around, but Dumao gets another crack at it, heading into round number 5, and perhaps they can set him up a little bit more aggressively and try to take some guns away. But there's still a little bit of potency behind this buy, but you have to imagine Nex and coldzera will full save, and there'll certainly be another opportunity for 9Z to hit B yet again if they so choose. So again, very similar to Anubis when they previously played, where on Anubis they would particularly just keep attacking mid again and again into coldzera, and it worked. It worked pretty well for them on that T side, and now it's that monster position just popping in through a couple of flashes and trying to overwhelm the B site. Of course, it's still early doors, but
Yep.
It's nice to see the conditioning already in full effect here.
Indeed. Buda will maybe get a little bit more aggressive with the Molotov up, and he'll go past that smoke. Lato forced back from connector. And 9Z are working their way up long. David happy to hold the W key for this position. And he's not being quiet about it, so they should have heard some of that, you would think, 00Nation, with a couple of players in bathroom. Lato is falling all the way back, but he's not glancing at it at all, so apparently they just didn't hear it. It's a bit of a whiffy spray, but he gets it sorted in the end. Dumao got a kill in the meantime, though, so it's still a 4 versus 4. complete control of the site. He checks bathroom.
Oh.
Actually can't complete that kill, but he knew Max was going to come in and take it anyway, so no worries.
And again, as soon as they saw Dumal get a kill outside of B, David gets that go signal to just run up long. And with the kind of resources that 00Nation desperately don't have, they can't necessarily stall out long or even potentially bluff David to not push anything on the long side. So he takes all that free real estate, hits Lotto through the side of the head, gets that kill out, or nearly gets the kill on this player in bathrooms, and it's pretty much a free round there for 9Z. 00Nation, they still get some concessions here. An AK on next, saved on over, and Dumal gets to hold on to that rifle for a third round in a row. And finally, we'll have a 00Nation buy to be excited about. NQZ has the option to invest into the AWP. And honestly, stability is probably the name of the game right now. I'd probably just opt in for utility and an A4. Or actually, he has an A1S. So smarter decision here. Try to hold on to as many players as alive as possible, and then maybe recover that out from Try's body.
Yep, Try going for the pick and connector this time around, and there's a bit of a boost coming in to have a look towards short, but only a brief one. Not going to stick there, as some people may do, to look for a frag the entire round and wait for short control, but just need to see if anything came through early round, and it's an early stack toward the east side of the map. Plenty of players there. We'll get those undefineds removed from the minimap for you in a second, don't you worry. Max creeping up, and Dumal trying to double spot these positions, and I think he might have seen Try. So that's now a lot of information, and Max is going to try and pounce off the back of it, and even though Cold's blind, he'll manage to get that opening frag. He's stuck behind the site though. There's so many players to deal with. It's going to be a bit of a brawl toward this side of the map. Next gets one, next gets two, almost a third. Try. Now 1 versus 2, but NQZ is already here. And that's the round done for 00Nation. Nice recovery, 3 rounds apiece. And 9Z still have money, thankfully, so they can buy straight back in.
Yeah, very done to coldzera. Very well done to coldzera there. I mean, he was caught between a rock and a hard place in the back of default, and to get one is already super impressive. I believe he was just full blind by that flashbang. And Next is really done well to hold on and get 2 of his own. So the side anchors on the B site do very, very well. It forces 9Z to set up a new game plan. Targeting B won't work any longer, at least for the time being, and instead they find an opening on the other side of the map. Try onto NQZ. NQZ actually hits the first shot, but Try converts. And meanwhile, stereo frags on the B site. 9Z sitting pretty with the man advantage. Not necessarily the best, but they can definitely sit on this 4v3 for quite a while before they make a decision. You see, they have so much space on the A side of the map as well, and I'm sure that must have been heard by a potential player as well. So, very good situation here for 9Z to work with.
Lato toward long is going to have to step up all on his own here. First player is low, but there's more coming his way, and they actually line up, but it was kind of 1 player up, 1 player down. 3 versus 2. Rotation is quick from Next, and in comes the Molotov toward Van to push them away from that position. And Cold is now lurking up connector, but DGT is still staring at it. What is he actually going to go deep to check it? He is. Now, Cold's under a lot of pressure, though. Drops the bomb, and he even gets a second, too. That's sick from Cold. And it puts Buda in a really tough situation, and he even holds the fort for the third. Sick hold from Cold. And that's what we saw from him earlier today as well.
Oh, that's just ridiculous, man. I mean, the crosshair readjustment there is not easy by any means. It's a pretty T-favored angle in terms of that duel. But coldzera makes it look like he was in control the entire time. And to get that final kill onto Buda as he goes flying through the Molotov is very, very difficult as well. So, magnificent hold from the captain. And 00Nation string together 2 and relegates 9Z to weird buy. 2 Glocks and 3 AKs. But they've got armor behind it, so there's definitely potency here. But with no utility, it's just going to come down to this raw duel that they're looking for. And as soon as they try to take a
Yeah.
fight and try to catch the fade, they're scared off by that re-smoke and they completely reorient to the A side of the map.
That was
Which, to
instant,
be
yeah.
fair, it is a little easier to trade on this side of the map. But regardless, it's going to be tough to just kind of scale through with no utility like this.
And as you say, not even a singular flash. So it's just going to be raw aim duels. And you see, now he's in the perfect position with the AWP. And there's no flash or Molotov to push him away. It's a nice setup to be in. Got a player towards the corner of long as well to help him out in that position. Jump spot it, and in comes the bounding Glock to try and get the AKs into the action. And QC will get the first. There's a lot more coming his way, and they play the headshot angle nicely. DGT gets that frag, but Jamal now is going to bail this round out. Max needs to push him down, but there's another player in action. Of course, it's Cold to help out right at the right time. 5-3 for 00Nation. And now that leaves 9Z in a bit of a weird spot. They've got a buy, but try will probably only be on a Galil. No AWP available. Weird one.
Yeah, with 3 in a row, TAC is out for 9Z to discuss the finances and again discuss what the playbook is moving forward. They were able to make not NQZ very uncomfortable on the back of default, but they had a very nice setup with at least the player on close long to take contact there and allow NQZ a little bit more room. And even after NQZ gets run over, you have coldzera and Dumal on the site on truck side to help out very, very efficiently. So very well done in terms of the rotations from 00Nation. Of course, the shots are magnificent as well, but you've got to give credit to how quickly they were able to maneuver around the map as soon as NQZ just spots a shoulder there on a divider player. So 9Z actually do get the investment out. Not that magnificent in terms of the utility, but they'll have definitely a little bit more to play with than the round previous. Fountain Peak doesn't work out for NQZ, but they do get significant amount of damage into Max and Try. 60 HP and 36.
Try will advance himself up the slide. Not for fun, to jump spot the front of bathroom there. Can be very handy, and they do get a little bit of information on that that's not being covered at the moment. Were you a slider or a swing sort of man, Paladin, when you were young?
I didn't have one, but I would love
No,
to
at a
use
playground, man, not your own one. Come on.
Okay, yeah, then I would go to playgrounds all the time. I don't know if you were rich like that, Travis.
Okay, calm down. We should do a phase play. We didn't answer the question. We'll answer the question later because there's a fight coming in toward Monster. 00Nation play the smoke fade and try and double up, which is a very common play on the Monster position, actually on CT side. But 9Z managed to go 2 for 1. So we've got a player in water, and of course we've got NQZ now rotating back toward heaven, and there isn't a smoke in action yet to block that off. Try has one, but it's not being used as of yet. He'll now deploy it. Now utility is gone for 9Z. There's a big lurk from Jamal, caught by Lato. That's a huge one to take. And now, with the water players known, Buda has to try and look for this frag. Dancing around in water, still a 3 versus 3. Big headshot from Dumal. Bomb will go down from Try. And QC could have gone for that wallbang if he really wanted to, but Try will advance his position anyway. So it's all down to DGT. Headshot angle toward the back of Jail. Has the first duel, hits the headshot, but NQZ reacts quickly. And 00Nation will reach double the score of 9Z at 6-3.
Tons of little individual 1v1s going across the map. You obviously had that one for Lotto and David on the A site. Super difficult fight for both players, but as soon as Lotto wins that, it takes out a huge proponent of that fight and it stalls out that B side play. And then again, the next 1v1 that was super important was the one for Dumal and Buda. And it was really a matter of timing there. Dumal coming out on top, it makes the round much, much more comfortable for 00Nation. And so there are a lot of 50-50 situations there that could have netted 9Z their next round, but it instead really destroys their money. They're down to just deagles, upgraded pistols. They will have some upgraded weaponry in terms of Buda and DGT, but it definitely has some holes in terms of the offensive potential here. And 9Z have really got to figure out a way to gather some more rounds here, because it looks like 00Nation are gathering a lot of individual potential here.
Yep. And that's one they can really get on a roll. Look how far Demal wants to push in and take control of A pretty quickly. Say A, just the whole map actually. Demal's now got the perfect position in playground where you'll see legs underneath the flower wooden panel there. If they decide to come up through T steps.
So feigning a little bit of presence with these pistols, I'm thinking that they're trying to suggest that there is no AK in play, so players like Demal can go a little bit more aggressive, but Demal still comes out on top, still gets all of this info that all of the A part of the map is completely clear. And so it forces 9Z to go straight up through connector. NQZ does hit the tag, but he has given a lot of space over to 9Z. Look at them just charging up through divider. And there's no rotation on the site itself, so this should net them at least a bomb plant. And they're going to have to stall out for this utility. But look at DGT, man. Look at this flank. If he's got the timing on lock, he could have NQZ dead to rights. But here's Demal as well.
This is so weird. There's flank on flank on flank right now. Like, no one seems to know exactly what the posturing is. It's so many unknowns for both these two teams. Demal's looking for it. DGT, now the reload will most certainly be heard, but DGT has just not shown his hand yet, so he could have a big part to play in this round so far. Cold will get dinked as he makes his way in, but at least gets that frag. It's a flank coming in for Max, and the frag comes in, and now DGT is proving to be a menace. Try will hit another headshot. There is a defuse coming in. But in the end, Try sorts out the situation. Lovely job from 9Z. There was layers on that round.
Oh, yeah.
Now close the gap to 2.
You got to give credit to Max there. As soon as he hits the dink, you feel like, oh, he's flubbed his lines there. But he manages to convert the kill. And at that point, they're just so worried as to where Max has gone and trying to deal with him. As soon as that happens, 9Z are well aware of this. They pounce from the bathroom side. And the trades are absolutely magnificent. Oh, it looks like a little bit of a team knife there on Tolato, down to 64 HP. But no harm, no foul. It's not the prettiest of buys. Actually, I say that. They're down to a single loss bonus here, and it forces a lot of investment out of these CTs. Lotto,
yeah,
with the scout and deagles across the board, but it's not pretty.
This is kind of set up for half by, right? Like, it's a strange one.
I feel as though when you're in these kinds of situations, you'd want to fully invest and have armor behind it, at least in that first go-around. And maybe if you try to gamble stack and things don't go right, then you can save that weaponry to the next. But I don't necessarily love 2 weak half buys. But regardless, this is what 00Nation's opted for.
Yeah, let's see how it pans out. Matto will try and jump spot long. We'll see nothing at the moment. Not choosing the van one just yet, as of course that will show a lot of himself. And now surely he'll get caught on the side in a matter of moments. Tries to react, but not to be. Now Colt Deagle has a chance to show up again, but only gets 1 this time around. And next has just that USP. And he actually has the most cash, of course, from that sort of weird half by that 00Nation to put into action. This could be a pretty good path for 9Z to maybe even get an equalising 6-all here. We've been given the opportunity by the economic choice of 00Nation. Big smoke toward green bin. Actually hits that headshot, which is handy, but Try gets the job done. And as we said, 00Nation, around about 3k per player, other than next on 3600, they're still $1 short right now.
Definitely so. And I mean, we had so many close rounds there from 9Z just not able to convert, and they're finally reaping the rewards with getting essentially a free round here. And honestly, if you want to count 2 free rounds, you can. But a complete save out here from 00Nation, only a deagle on coldzera. We know he's good for it, but it's just going to be a simple B rush here. Just flashes over the top, have this MAC-10 go ahead and farm up some easy little cash. 2 kills for Buda on that MAC-10, make it a 3rd. Magnificent stuff for Buda. Definitely will love to have that bit of a bank built up and heading into the final 3 rounds of the half.
Of course, this is the grand final, so whoever wins this best of 3 is going to IEM Dallas. Actually, for either one of these 2 teams. USPs are doing decent damage here, actually. 9Z are not going to survive with players alive as they would have wanted. Lato has an AK to try and save, but he is being hunted from long. That's certainly going to be an unexpected factor, you would think. Max coming in. 3, 2, 1. Spot. Round done. 6 rounds apiece until the buy finally comes in, as I mentioned. And 00Nation will have the AWP up. But only a chance to get a 1-round lead when it could have been so much more.
9Z have strung together some clean rounds here. They've figured out what works. They love leaving a player lurking on these site hits, and although the success of it hasn't been 100%, it's definitely keeping 00Nation guessing. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what they're going for. They're trying to make sure that 00Nation cannot comfortably rotate into these sites when the hits actually come in. So instead, 00Nation opts to be a little bit more aggressive this time around. NQZ queued up on the playground. And so was Lotto to try and set things up. It's a common setup in Tier 1 CS. And that's the kind of trap springing. And Lotto and Dumao, the deadly duo for 00Nation throughout this qualifier, chime in for some huge kills, leaving it to just DGT.
I was about to say, it's, you know, Lato and Damao, those are the guys that so often do the work for 00Nation, and they've got 4 kills between them in this one. Clean M4A4 sprays, mid-range as well, not the easiest things in the world. Getting that headshot pretty early on. Yeah, DGT will probably look to try and save, but it's a whole 50 seconds to do it, so we've got some time to relax.
Really good adaptation there from 00Nation to play a little bit more aggressive. Don't give too much room to 9Z. And of course, that setup is a very dangerous one, because if Lotto doesn't get that kill and Dumao is kind of left on an island there, perhaps he gets traded, or vice versa. It's a very glass cannon setup, and 00Nation do very well to make sure that it works. And that leaves 9Z to try and slow things down a little bit more heading into the final 2 rounds of the half, and really try to suss out where 00Nation are playing, because now they've got to really check their corners before they kind of pounce. And that kind of cat and mouse is always very exciting to watch in a map like Overpass.
For sure. 00Nation will decide not to hunt. Discretion is the better part of valor in that situation, because they only have 3 players up and money is not at good strength just yet. Now, if they lose this round, they would be a little bit short on weaponry on the final round of the half, so it would make sense not to throw everything in. So they'll let 9Z save. Control Molotov will be put out, and Nato will hop himself off the bin to try and go for that jump throw nade that can go through the edge of the hedge and do a lot of damage, but removed by David immediately. That was kind of disgusting. Off the back of that opening frag, 00Nation forced to go in towards short for some control of the map back in response, and now there's a really good line being held by NQZ through short pipe. I don't think Max is going to be aware of that, and that's a lovely frag in response. The connector player should pounce at some point, but of course, Cold is still here to help.
Still not actually pouncing on any of this R9Z, surprisingly. They actually decide to reorient. I believe Buda's in connector has gotten a lot of control for himself there. And with that, they're going to try to pincer into short here. coldzera's under a really sticky situation and can't even get the first. So a lot more room to play with for 9Z. The map continues to open up for them. 40 seconds on the clock, though, so they're going to have to start to make a real decision. It seems as though the B side is where they want to end.
Makes sense. 35 seconds to go. NQZ posted up left side pillar really nicely. Flashes need to be getting into action. They've actually got 1 flash right now. Oh, NQZ. He was the main man you'd want to defend that. He was left on an island, left alone. But he had a chance to dance around the pillar like Guardian of old. But nothing on this occasion. Deleted. And the one will go down. And 00Nation are probably forced to save for this final round of the half coming in. Like I mentioned earlier, money is an issue still.
Yet again, 9Z find a way through. Very well done in terms of trying to take short control there. Not allowing for coldzera to multi-frag yet again. And it leaves Nex and Dumao with quite a troublesome scenario. Very, very well done T half here from 9Z. 7 rounds, potentially an 8th as well, considering the finances in the future. And I'll hold on to it. Have a little bit of a tech pause here, but the damage has already been done. Very well done from the T's.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. This is a good half from them on the, of course, on their map pick. 00Nation picking Mirage into the second map of the series, and Anubis the decider. There's a part of me that really wants it to go to an Anubis decider, especially after the Anubis we saw yesterday between these two teams, which was the opening map of the series. But if it does go to Anubis Anubis decider, I reckon I'm probably not going to get to bed before 4 a.m. Unlucky, but that's what we live for. 00Nation left with nothing at all on their 3 players who didn't save. Probably going to be on MP9s, maybe a FAMAST on Lato. Of course, then he'd have not much utility at all. Sensible pill taken to save those 2 guns, but realistically, it's still not going to be a strong one for them.
No, not at all. But at this point, they've got to invest as much as they can to nab this 8th. It's going to be a really arduous task to break through 9Z's defense heading into half number 2. But they've got to try and rectify something here before half 1 ends. It's nice to see that, Dumao is continuing his good form. He is the 3rd highest rated player in the qualifier right now, 1.22, alongside his compatriot Lado at 1.31. So top 3, or actually all of the highest rated players are within this server right now. The 3, 6, actually, top 10 players in the server are all here. So Fluxo and INTZ could not get anything done in the grand scheme of things. And it's nice to actually have confirmation that we have the 2 best teams in the qualifier on the day here to fight for a spot at Dallas. I mean, it means so much to both of these teams for 00Nation not being able to make the major and not attending Rio as well. This would be another S tier event that they could attend. And for 9Z, they couldn't even make the RMR, so no major, but they do have Rio. So if they could make Dallas, that means they'd have 2 S tier tournaments to play back to back. Lots of experience gained for this 5-man lineup, and potentially a lot of ESL World ranking points to gather, and potentially an invite to another future event. So a lot on the line here than just this Dallas spot, right? So it definitely means a lot to both of these teams to try and take this BO3 over the edge.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Of course, we discussed this yesterday, and we can discuss it again now. It's kind of crazy that Fluxo, the only team in this bracket that qualified for the major, but they're not actually necessarily the favourite in the entire thing, and probably rightly so. Fluxo had a good win, of course, to actually make it to the RMR, and in the end to actually qualify. But it was a favourable draw. They had some very easy matches up, really. Obviously, you have to beat who's in front of you. That is the classic tale. But at the same time, it was an easy run, no shadow of a doubt. And that's why we sort of considered 00Nation and 9Z to be the expected grand final. And that's what we've got. 00Nation, of course, the former Godsent players. I mean, even Next, who was brought in as a replacement for Taco, is actually formerly from the Godsent side. The Young Gods Academy team. Taco, of course, stepping down for his own personal reasons. And Dumao and Lato really came onto the scene, burst onto the scene under that Godsent banner. And then when they switched over to the 00Nation, that game, of course, at ESL Challenger Valencia, where Furia kind of got destroyed by 00Nation. Really put them on the map for good.
It feels like such a long time ago, right? After kind of 00Nation bursting onto the scene, it feels like we've been waiting for that step up from them for a long time. And with this roster move kind of coming out of left field, it feels as though 00Nation have got a lot of work to do to kind of become that cohesive unit again, especially with a young player like Nex. And having him play in some very tough roles, some anchor positions on some of the hardest bomb sites to hold in Counter-Strike, period. I mean, his numbers are definitely going to take a dip because of it. So it's a lot of work that they have to do, but they're still getting wins on the board, and getting to
Yeah.
this grand final tonight has been definitely a pretty decent accomplishment for them.
Oh, Lato.
David, that
He
is
wanted to go
ridiculous.
aggressive. Yeah, he wanted to get the town and take fountain control. And I felt, honestly, if he stuck himself there and just made sure he was behind the biggest part of the fountain, then maybe he would have actually stayed alive for a little while longer and had a chance at a duel. But no, he just got destroyed. And he tried to hop away when those flashes were coming in. And Buda and David will get themselves a killer piece to start off this one. Dumau in the front of bathrooms. Probably going to be one of the first points of contact if they go toward A, but so they're going to ignore it. The bomb's going back toward Monster.
Yeah, with how much time is on the clock at this point, it gets to be a very easy round for 9Z to kind of figure out where they want to go. So many holes in the defense for the South American side to pick apart. And so 00Nation decided to actually gamble inside a bathroom. Catch this fade here, but Dumau only gets one.
Oh, but
But
the bomb's
coldzera
been
is,
redropped
yeah.
though by Cold, so it's kind of in the open, and feels like there's not really anyone as close as you'd expect to trade that one. So while Cold is on his own here, should get taken down and will be by Try actually in the end, not even David. It was a little bit scary for a second, especially with the time on the clock, but now they can figure it out, and next is 1v3, and he's hoping they're going to go back toward B. The bomb is still actually quite a long way away from the side. They need to hurry up on this one. And they will be fine, I believe. 8, 7, 6. Staring at the minimap right now. 5, just about on the clock. Goodness me. Next actually tried to play time in the end to see if they'd actually misjudged it. But he's going to have to go for it, of course. It's the final round of the half. There's a re-smoke for Try and flashes for DGT. So this makes it ever harder. No smoke for Next to get onto the bomb to at least try and fake out the first player. But he spotted the first. Has to make noises. I think he thinks that he's been spotted too. He holds it a wide angle and hits another headshot to end off the half. Clean stuff from David. And it will be an 8-7 for 9Z going into the second half. We'll be back after a quick break. 30 seconds early, we're starting the second half, and it's even Stevens between 9Z and 00Nation. And now the latter are on the T side. NQC with the utility, smoke, molly, flash. And latter on that P250 to look to take those long-range duels. 9Z on their favoured side, you'd imagine. They've got a kit on Buda, nade and flash on Max, and the dualies on David. And 00Nation are grouping up for a long push.
And now is the time for 9Z to convert this map pick. They've done very well to gather 8 on their offense. But right now, 00Nation crawling up long, leaving Dumao to just watch for a little bit of aggression on Fountain. And Try will just be jump spotting here, trying to get a little bit of information before they come in. But it's only him on the site itself. The rotations are particularly leaned upon the B bomb site, and after that shot actually comes through, 2 rotations do come in, but they've got to come in thick and fast because 00Nation are hot on their heels.
Right, looking to defend from the back of Dice, but now he's going to get swarmed upon, so it's under a lot of pressure. He manages to go 1 for 1, and then DGT gets into the action to help out. Bomb is dropped in the open, but DGT getting pressured up close by Dumao. Even the nade for Max actually dealt with NQZ nicely there. And that is a nice hold on the CT pistol.
Yeah, very sharp from Try there to just take out that long prong instantaneously. He knew that he had the advantage with that USP. And as soon as that happens, it's the go signal for 0-0. But at the same time, Try did very well to call the rotations there as quick as possible. Crossfires were set, and they knocked him down. 9Z do very well. And 00Nation actually decided to force here. No bomb plant, so no rifles beyond NQZ Scout. But very curious from Try here, going aggressive in Fountain. Finally flash off the angle and he decides to retreat, and probably the smart decision here at this point. You don't want to hand over rifles to armored terrorists at this point. It get very, very dicey very quickly.
Yeah, these are so hard to deal with, but usually on the CT side. So, see how NQZ can get this scout into the action. Max, MP9 up close. Now, check the corner first, but the fact he had a helmet made it more difficult, but he still takes cold as well. That's really impressive considering. And now 10 HP to spare, can just hide away and connect and play a headshot angle. Don't need to go looking for any more. Might sacrifice himself to look for at least some information to see if anyone on 00Nation is pushing up toward the A site, but site player will be spotted on the jump spot as well. So this should be sorted out by 9Z pretty quickly. DGT, FAMAS close toward the truck position. It's going to be a 3-man defense here with the M4 behind Dice. It's a perfect setup. It's basically impenetrable. Lato hits a nice shot, but it's only the one you'd possibly get. And that's 9Z up to double digits.
Yeah, very, very clean there from 9Z. Again, their A protocols seem to be very, very efficient. And they get the job done. Again, free round here on the cards to gather themselves an 11th. And 9Z continue to gather steam here and really solidify their map pick. It was a risk for sure, but so far it seems as though it's paying off. It very much seems like 00Nation have not necessarily drilled this map as much as their others. And 9Z are capitalizing because of it.
Max pushing deep, looking to farm up the cash with the MP9. Bomb dropped. That's even information at this stage anyway. He might want to go into more, but he's going to get double peaked at some point. And there is a deagle in action there. So we'll get punished for that re-aggression, but now the bombs neatly dropped onto the shelf at the top of connector there. It's like someone's put it there. On purpose. Ready to be picked up. But yeah, there's no access to it now. Even though Nex picked up the MP9, DGT's got only 12 bullets in the clip, but that's all he needs. And 9Z looking solid right now.
And this is just the worst kind of 3-round spree that you'd have to build up if you're a 00Nation fan. It's so difficult to gather momentum off of just these clean anti-force by anti-eco rounds from the CTs because they just gather up so much money. They have so many more opportunities to take it to you. And, you know, if you're David and Buda, you can hold on to this weaponry and go into it with a bonus. Like, Try's got the AWP out and still has 5K in the bank. And it's not going to be easy for 00Nation to really get themselves stuck in. They're going to have to win 2 buy rounds in a row. And they've got to do it here and now because they don't have many rounds to play with at this point.
Axel maybe questioning Coldzera. Lots of grenade damage, and look at the push towards short at the meantime too. That's a pinch and a half from 9Z. Looking to go aggressive with that UMP, and in the end, actually, even though it's only a 1-for-1, oh, I say only a 1-for-1, look at where Lato is. He's behind the play on B. They have no idea, but that's a great recovery from DGT. What a huge kill that could prove to be.
Very smartly done there from DGT. Unlucky to not be able to confirm that kill from Lato, but Buda gets another, and NQZ tried to waltz out on the B side thinking that it's only a week in DGT, but to no avail into the 2v3. And Dumao is taking some liberties here, moving up divider. And at this point, he's going to see that there's an open A bomb site, but unbeknownst to him, Try has been holding in bathrooms this entire time. So even if he wants next to come into the A site, it's not going to be free. So instead, Dumao is actually going to opt to try and find a lurk on the B site, maybe? Okay, never mind. He mollies himself off truck, and this just looks like an odd save call or something like that.
It's strange, isn't it? I think what he's just doing is trying to sell a fake, at least get 1 kill, and it will pull rotations over. It's actually pulled 2 rotations over, but Dumao needed that kill to make this play work. And while it has opened up the B bomb site for next, there is a rotation coming back in just to double check it. That is Buda. Right, to come in, and just as he pulls out the bomb is when Buda appears from CT, and he just took a little bit too long to pounce after that play came in.
Yeah, when that type of a fake comes in, teams are going to definitely bite on that hard with kind of how low the time is at that point and how low the manpower is as well. A molly and a flash would definitely suggest that 2 players are there. So it is a risk to just run into the B bomb site and just stick the plant, but at that point in the round, Nex has to take that risk, and he doesn't do it, and he gets punished for it. Buda quick to his advances. But another buy in the tank here for 00Nation. It's not the prettiest one, but they definitely got an opportunity here to convert a huge damage to both individuals. Lato down to 8, DGG down to 6. But information garnered to the aggressive short control from 00Nation. So these 9Z side anchors on the B site should definitely be aware of what could come in the seconds here.
David actually not even care to spray through the smoke to find Lato. Lato's not had the impact as much as his previous games so far today. I'm creeping up towards short, but again, he's just here trying to set a fake. He's on his own. The bomb is all the way toward long, and I have to resort to a run boost to take it. Straight across the angle, but there's no one here to glance at it, so they'll be fine. But there's that look removed by David, and that just kind of removes the entire plan, basically. It feels like, because now it's going to be obvious that they're going to be grouped up toward A.
And that's the difference between 9Z and 00Nation. Those lurks were just so much more efficient from 9Z, and we're definitely able to cause some conditioning. But at this point, Try should gather all the information. He stalled out with the Molotov as well. Only 25 seconds left on the clock. And 00Nation are potentially just walking into the blender here.
Try defending, and actually, with the help of that smoke, has a free range to try and peek a little bit further around toward long, and honestly, he should have been caught out in that position, because there was a gap on that smoke that I think it might have been Cold, had a gap for. But in the end, Cold can only get 1 kill on the entry as the last alive, and gets 9Z up to 13-7, and their money is certainly booming right now. They're looking very comfortable. But it's a long series. Second map, I feel like it's a little bit more of a lottery. Could easily go either way. And then Anubis Decider is obviously one that is hard to call after how close their game was yesterday. pistols for 00Nation. Damage is the order of the day at least, because that money is getting out of control, as I said.
10k on try, and it's just going to take a very long time to get dug into this half, if that, before the game just kind of spirals out of control. Max is pushed up in the fountain here, so there is a world where they can find a rifle to play with, and they spot him out as well. So this flank on playground should come in from coldzera. Only a Tech 9, it's really hard to deal with him, and they're trying to triangulate his position, trying to claim this rifle for their own, but they're gonna have to expend a lot of time and a lot of resources to do so.
Yeah, and tries in position once again. He's trying to pre-fire it, but okay, there's a dual one, and that's a gun that can be recovered for Dumal, but DGT is here to help out Try, just in case. And he's only with the Glock. Trying maybe to play smoke fed on the right-hand side. DGT isn't aware of that, but he's just the Glock, and even though he hits a dink, it's only for half health. Now Dumal will just shift into the AWP of Try, 14-7, double the score. It's solid as a rock.
Last real opportunity for 00Nation to get into this game. They're going to take attack, their first of the map, surprisingly. There are a lot of different tribulations throughout this map of Overpass, and I'm surprised that they weren't able to slow the pace down. And now it kind of feels a little bit too late. 9Z have really powered up into the CT defense. And I think this is the first round that we're actually getting to see the TAWP from NQZ. He has been pretty much a non-factor this time around. Try has definitely had the upper hand in terms of openings. And now he's definitely in his element, playing on that back dice box where he does his best work. But still an opportunity here for 00Nation, the last chance necessarily. And David, I don't really have anything to say that has worked for 00Nation outright.
No.
It feels kind of flat. The playbook looks stale. The lurks haven't been working. The executes have been non-existent, to be completely honest. And it's left 00Nation with very few options at this point.
I'll tell you why it feels like it's been stale, because they haven't lost a round, 90, on the CT side. They've completely locked 00Nation out. Simple as that. Good damage early on as well, and this following. Round 22, Lato and next. 50 health apiece after the opening sprays, and look how many players they've got on B. Happy to have 4 and just entrust Try, or entrust Max actually, I tell a lie, with the entirety of 8. Try is helping out on Pillar.
And they can afford to do that, right? They know that 00Nation have to play very scared at this point, have to respect the conditioning that 9Z have laid upon them, but I think this might be a little risky for Max. Playing ahead of these smokes could prove to be very risky, so he calls over DGT as well, feeling a little bit of pressure. And actually, look at this fade here from Buda. You might catch Lotto completely off guard. NQZ is actually set up for some utility, but they re-smoke it. Oh. I think that nade has hit him square in the face, but Buda still gets the kill.
That's
but
a
Max
good kill,
does go down, yeah, on the other side of the map, so definitely a route into this A site here. DGT under pressure.
He is. Player coming from long, player coming from mid, and Next is creeping up silently as well, so they might not know he's so far up. They know the rotations are coming in, and yes, DGT just falls back a pixel, and it gives the frag to Next. Try is still here, and this angle is so hard to find. Jamal's playing the perfect position. Bomb will go down with a few seconds to spare. So they can play out this 3 versus 2, but Buda's flank could work out. Colder's giving it a glance, and he's got the right angle for it, and he manages to sort it out. So no worries in the end. Try can go for this, can try this clutch, because he's got $12,000 in the bank. At least looking for exits would be smart. Got a kit, got a flash. Could even maybe go for a ninja to pull players back toward the bomb if he wants to, but it's the worst plant for that, unfortunately. So he'll just stick around. He'll survive in the corner of bank on 61 health, I believe. Let's see how much health he has. Yes, 9 HP to spare. All good. And 00Nation will get their first T round.
And it comes down to just an incorrect rotation there from 9Z. You had only a single player stuck a truck at that point. gets overrun, long comes back to bite them. And that's the risk you run with running a 4-1 like that. And the rotations have to be very, very swift if it does come to A. And there was no real indication and jump spotting from 9Z to kind of give that early warning. So 00Nation do well to convert that one. This time around, another opportunity for 00Nation to climb back into this and gather some honor around, so to speak. And Lotto just gets too clean through the smoke. They try to catch the smoke fade. They've been trying to get sneaky with it for a couple rounds now, and finally, Lotto punishes.
PGT. Having to fall back towards CT, and they're now forced to go for a bit of aggression to look for more. And look how far Try's gone through, right? All the way through long. Has a sight line all the way from Fountain to T steps, and he might be in a good position for a quick flank on A, but it's going to need to be a bit quicker than it is right now. And Dumao is up very quickly, and that spot is a bit awkward. Max has to go for an immediate swing as he knows he's been spotted. He gets removed. 2 versus 5. Oh, and Try will even get checked by NQZ as well. That's a really nice find. No risk at all now for 00Nation. DGT will try and save, because now this save actually means something. Try might have that bank built up, but he's the only one with the bank.
He might get found out here by Lotto. He spots the barrel, so at least DGT can get an upgrade into that AK-47. Tries to reorient himself, but again, coldzera is hot on his heels. All of these 00Nation players are trying to congregate and take this weapon away, understanding the potential of taking this gun away. Now should get an early warning sign. DGT can't complete the spray. A 9th on the board for 00Nation, and a very interesting situation for 9Z. Try does have 11.5k in the bank, so there is a world where they can invest into this. A couple drops to be given over for David and Buda, and Try can just opt in for the rifle, but he actually opts for the AWP himself. I think they'll be able to eke something out, but this is definitely going to be the last chance that they'll have at a buy, a consecutive buy at that.
Only 5 rounds of the gap, and I always say if a team's on 14, you always feel like you have a chance, even if the gap is relatively big. So there's still a glimmer of hope, and this is the last buy. Next, waiting for the Molotov. I say waiting for the Molotov. The end decides to charge straight through it and take 40 HP worth of damage, but Max is pushed up aggressively here. Could be a good play to work out. He can just stick himself next to the bench and try and catch up a player, and that's exactly what he does. Almost hits the head, but now Next should be able to figure him out. But DGT is the snake in the grass in this play. He should be the insurance policy, but he's not choosing to swing as of yet. Next looks for it and immediately takes it. What an important shot that could prove to be. Max is now forced down connector thanks to that kill, and the smoke will allow Dumao and Cole to make their way out into short.
Oh.
It's not a good smoke though, so he should get caught in the back, but again it's a whiffy one, and then comes the play from Next. It forces the crouch, and Max is now very stuck. Dumao taking try in the meantime, huge frag, and 00Nation, despite the health, are fighting through this one.
Nowhere for Max to run, nowhere for him to hide, but they've still got 2 players on this B side. They're trying to trade their way through. It really comes down to this fight if there's anything left to say in the round, and Cole does convert it at last. David continues to burn in water down to just 2 points of health, and 9Z cannot string together their 15th. 00Nation decide to reorient themselves, not to deal with David any longer, get that bomb plant on A. David tips his hat, says, I'm also low as well. I'll hold on to this AWP. And we'll head into round number 25 with 00Nation confirming double digits here, Trav. After a complete stalwart defense from 9Z, it felt like this map was over and done with, but perhaps there's just a little bit of legs to this one.
The legs are growing. No doubt. fighting their way through to a 10th, and this AWP gets saved. It's good, but doesn't afford them much else in the next round, so great spot for 00Nation to be in. Can easily start putting pressure. A bit of a difference maker now. And Cole could be about to catch David in the back too. This round is done. There it is. No AWP to be saved. They're around 2,400, 2,700 per player. It's going to be pistol. Maybe only P250s per player as well. So 00Nation have a chance to close the gap to just 3.
And at this point, you know, the loss bonus is built. You definitely have some better buys in the tank to close out this half. But at this point, you know, you're also fighting against some momentum that's slowly been shifting over to 00Nation. They've figured out a couple of options that can work. You know, the B side does feel a little bit more susceptible at this point. They're trading pretty efficiently there. They've sussed out a little bit of aggressive maneuvers in 9Z's A defense as well. So Nex has found some important frags here. Definitely have something to replicate moving into the next few rounds. Does get traded out though. DGT has an AK to recover, but this promotes 00Nation to head into the B side of the map. Short has been taken. They've molly toxic barrels, and David just left here with his deagle. Very difficult shots to hit alongside Buda, and they should be going down quite easily here.
Yeah, these angles are just tough, right? It's so hard to actually get the kills from this position. Buda has a nice little gap, of course, in the site to play with, but it's only ever going to net him one.
At this point, I wouldn't even bother fighting here. I would just leave. Like, even if anything's being offered up, I'd leave. Even though you have a buy left in the tank, Max is on 1,800. You'd want to make sure that he has all the bells and whistles moving into the following. So just cut your losses. I mean, the money is definitely very, very good for 00Nation at this point. So there's no real damage that you can do reasonably at this point of the game. So finally, DGT decides to leave to save that AK, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, the save of the AK affords DGT full utility and a bit of bolster of extra cash for the next few rounds. But they're not going to commit to the AWP, which is perhaps surprising.
Yeah, I definitely would love to have it on a map like Overpass. Those long lines definitely allow for CTs to take some pretty aggressive duels. Of course, long monster into the top of T steps, but it's not going to be there this time around. Full 4 stack initially from 9Z, as 00Nation are considering the option to go to B with 3 men sitting outside of monster as well. Perhaps another timing play to just pop through at an awkward 40-second, 1-minute mark, but it's not there. Try is actually going to set his teammates up with this pop flash, depending on what contact comes in, and here it comes, actually.
Now a bit close up, but another nice entry from Next. There are so many more players here to face, and it's an even trade from Buda, but now he's going to be out of bullets. But for the last 2 in the clip, he gets another kill, and it pulls up the USB to take NQZ as well. What a critical hold that is. Dumao has got a chance to recover the situation, but Buda's on for an ace here. And he's repositioned to a nice spot on the right side of the Monster 2. Resmoke can come in. That locks Dumao out, and now they know where he is. That was so unlikely for Buda to actually get that 3rd kill and then finish up for the 4th with the pistol. 2 bullets needed to be hit. He had 2 bullets, and he hit them.
Yeah, ammo management was very, very well done there from Buda. And Dumao in quite a difficult scenario. 25 kills in the map. He's done very well to get to this point. He spams out. DGT down to 1 HP. Yet is he aware of a second player? No, he isn't. Buda completes the ace.
Lovely.
Magnificent anchoring there from the youngster. And what a way to confirm map point here on their own map pick of Overpass.
The Argentinian ace from Buda. Beautiful hold. More than he bargained for. But that's what we paid the big bucks for, to step up like that in those scenarios. Important to get 9Z onto their 15th.
This guy came from their academy roster, and when the move actually came through after removing rocks from this lineup, it felt as though 9Z had made the wrong decision. It felt like perhaps there was another personnel change that could have been a bit more efficient, but this guy has shown some real resilience to play at some top lands, and now he's showing why they brought him on in the first place. It's a 25 kill game of his own right. Very well done to him to really muscle 9Z over the line here.
Oh, nice shot from Next, and again, it's kind of falling apart a bit for 9Z in this one.
Very odd round, right? I mean, just raw aim duels being taken all across the map, and 00Nation coming out on top every which way. Bomb plant comes on the A site, and David is in an awkward scenario here, trying to get out with his guns, but 00Nation are definitely going to be on the hunt at this point. Still have got money to run with. Battling against map point, you want to try to make as many rounds as easy as possible here on this comeback to try and secure overtime.
Yeah, and they're actually going to be hunting as well, which is a smart thing to do, because that AWP was available to be recovered on short. I reckon Buda would have tried to go in for that if he wasn't being pressured. And now David is going to try and do that himself. But he's going to be in between a tough position now. Is he going to go for it? I think he knows it's towards short, but that Molotov is being used to keep him at bay for going for it. Smart idea. And now 00Nation just 3 away from overtime.
And they navigated that very well, taking away one rifle. It definitely neutralizes this potency of this 28th round from 9Z. It's only that single rifle for David. Upgraded pistols for sure, so if a gun is picked up, there will be a little bit of kick behind it. But again, not anything to really write home about here from 9Z. They're going to set up David to boost into watch that short pipe. But Dumao has got the perfect counter here. Surely these pins are being heard. So they disassemble quickly. They try to get David into a different position. Or actually, I say that he decides to reaggress.
Oh, that's a...
And he gets one as well.
Yeah,
what a ballsy call.
good frag to take. You can exit con as well. Buda's fighting away with that 5-7, but then
that's
David
nice.
just takes advantage of that early fight. Knows that maybe Cole isn't expecting a reface by the rifle instead. Not sure if he knew that the AK had come back out connector. He did leap over the short pipe angle. I'm not sure if he was spotted. It's a good grenade from Lato. But he's down to 9 HP. NQZ walking in with the AWP. They need a big recovery in this round now.
They're just going to keep creeping up. And they're searching for something for NQZ, but 9-0 are playing complete retake. David playing graffiti side screams to me that they're willingly let the bomb go down. I say that now David found his way into the site himself and gets destroyed by Lotto. So just these upgraded pistols now, and now it gets very difficult for 00Nation to lose this one. Should be able to get a bomb plant regardless of them being boxed in. Next gets another. Max should get this kill onto Lotto. So into the 2v2, but he can't get an upgraded weapon. NQZ confirms it. And so now it just gets very, very difficult for DGT. He can try to search for something. Definitely can try to go for it, but opts for just saving his Kevlar. And 00Nation will find a way to get their 13th here.
Yeah, that was very tight, and for a second there was a great chance for 90 to sort that one out, but the one big threat in David was removed. And when they swapped the AWP over to the low HP Lato, he could just hold the line, held the correct line too. DGT is going to go in for at least a gun, I think. I think the call did come through that it was a gun link connector, and there we go. That's where the kill came through. The first kill of the round from David, so that's a nice find. Good call, good communication, so that's the safest gun to pick up. But yeah, that's keeps it ever tighter. Yeah, INZ have a full buy available to them, but of course, if they lose this round, then they might not have too much for round 30.
And what's the change up here from 00Nation? Do you continue to have these slow crawling defaults, try to search for just some raw aim duels across Overpass? It's been working quite well for them when they do decide to take just those heads up duels. They've been definitely with the stronger individuals in that sense. But at this point, 9Z don't actually offer up anything aggressive, bar try. That's his first time he's actually trying to fight for something in long, and he gets rewarded for it. Next goes down into the 5v4. And this is definitely one of the best opportunities 9Z have had in this half to just confirm a round. And luckily, this is the most important round of all to just lock in that map victory.
Absolutely. So Mao has front bathroom control, but Max is in a good position to defend against any A play. Man down. Always so hard to recover on overpass. Control for the T set is always hard to glean. Boost to look over the top of the flower bed. Might be given some luck, and he sees a jump spot, but don't necessarily know if 9Z have seen him. I think they probably have done.
Yeah, look at Max. Look at him aggressing. I think he's seen it. And he's actually going to circumvent Lotto entirely, and that's the bomb. The bomb has been dropped, and another kill's been given over, and he finds Lotto lurking in mid. So all the information has been given over to 9Z, and surely this is where the end is nigh for 00Nation.
You'd think so. coldzera uses smoke to hop across the angle. DGT still is comfortable on this angle, and now he has support from David as well. Double spray down for him. And now Lato, his flank was very much known. 9 seconds, he's about to be swarmed by everyone, and Max will get that final kill to sort it out. Great stuff from 9Z. They will manage to take their map pick of Overpass, and that sets them up nicely for this series. Now only one map away from confirming their spot to IEM Dallas. It's game set, but not match yet, Paladin.
It was labored. It was